Okay, I want you to get this worksheet out. Sorry, it's a little blurry here. Trying to get it but it's on, let's see if that helps. There you go. Solving radical equations. So it looks just like this. It's going to be in today's work. So if you'll look on October 20th classwork. So these are really simple to solve. I know they look complicated, but they're very simple. So we're going to start off with number one. Number one, we have 3 square root 3x minus 8 equals 12. Okay, so we want to solve this. So the first thing, your first step when you are solving a radical equation is number one, to isolate the radical. So we're going to get the radical by itself. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to divide both sides by 3. Okay, so it's going to cancel on this side, so we're going to be left with the radical of 3x minus 8 equals, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. Now, we have the radical by itself, so now my next step is we are going to undo the radical by doing the opposite, which is we're going to square both sides. So what you do to one side, you have to do to the other, so we're going to square both sides. So that'll be your step number 2. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to put parentheses completely around the radical and square it, and then around the 4 and square it. So the square root of 3x minus 8 squared is actually 3x minus 8, and the square of 4 is 16. And then step 3, solve for x, or solve for the unknown, which is going to be x, or whatever your variable happens to be. So I'll just put in parentheses x so you'll know. So we're just going to follow our steps of solving equations. I'll start off by adding 8 to both sides. We get 3x equals 24. Divide everything by 3, and x equals 8. So my answer is 8. So hopefully you understand that. And now we're going to go ahead and work another one. So I'm going to take another one from over here. So if you're looking at your sheet, I'm going to take number 3. And number 3, we have 11 is equal to 2 plus the radical square root of 80b plus 1. So I want to isolate my radical, which means we need to get the 2 to the other side. So we can accomplish that by subtracting 2 to both sides. So that would be 9 is equal to, the 2's cancel. And here we have the square root of 80b plus 1. So we've accomplished step 1. Step 2, square both sides. So I'm going to put parentheses around the whole entire radical. 9 squared is 81. And then the square root of 80b plus 1 squared is 80b plus 1. Because all you have to do is just remove the radical sign. Because the square root is the opposite of square, and the square is the opposite of square root. So they undo each other. So now my next step is I'm going to get the b by itself. Okay, so far we're at 80 equals 80b. Now we're going to divide both sides by 80. And here b equals 1. So our answer would be b equals 1 for number 3. So that's pretty simple. That's really all that you're going to do. I'll tell you what, I'll go ahead and work number 11 because it does have a fraction in it. So here we have 7 plus, square root of n over 4 equals 14. So my first step is we're going to isolate this radical by subtracting 7 from both sides. So now we have the square root of n over 4 equals 7. 14 minus 7 is 7. Now I'm going to square both sides. So that would be n over 4 equals 49. And then our last step is we're going to multiply both sides by 4. So it'll cancel over here. And n is equal to 49 times 4, which would be, 36. Carry 3. 4 times 4 is 16. 196. So n equals 196. Now, I'm going to show you how to do it when we have radicals on both sides, which looks really complicated, but it's not. Let's go ahead and take a look at number 17. So number 17, we have the square root of 3n minus 2 equals the square root of 2n plus 1. Okay, so I'm going to square both sides now. So all you're going to do is just, okay, that is 3n minus 2 equals 2n plus 1. Just remove the radical, solve for n. So I would add 2 to both sides. So now we have 3n, the 2 cancels, equals 2n plus 3. Subtract your 2n from both sides. That cancels. 3n minus 2n is n. Bring down your 3. So it's just that simple. I'll go ahead and grab one more for you. Let's go ahead and do 23 since it has a fraction in it. So here we have the radical of a over 5 equals the square root of 42 minus a. So we want to undo, get rid of the radicals on each side by squaring. So now this is going to be equal to a over 5 equals 42 minus, I put 2 here, that should be a. Okay, so now with this one, my next step is we want to get rid of that 5. So I'm just going to multiply both sides by 5, which means you're going to have to distribute the 5 over here. So it'll cancel. A is equal to 42 times 5 would be what? 210. So 5 times 2 is 10. Carry your 1, 20. Yeah, 210 minus a. And then our next step is we would add a to both sides. So now we get 2a is equal to 210. Divide both sides by 2. And a equals 105. And that would be your answer. Okay, so I want you to finish this worksheet today. You will upload it into Google Classroom into today's assignments, and we will go over this tomorrow. So you have 25 problems, but I worked, about 5 or 6 of them for you already. So that is your classwork today. All right, have a good day.